Hello and welcome to Sports Fan Entertainment, and that is right, I do make videos that are not just Titans videos, and oh, we're cutting it so close, but let me give you my 2020 NFL predictions. And by the way, okay, two things actually, by the way. Number one, if you haven't already, join the SFE Pick'em League. Now, you already missed Thursday's game, but you can catch up. If you don't know what this is, you just pick games every week straight up on ESPN.com. Top 3 people will receive a prize. $100 gift card, $50 gift card, and $25 gift card. Link to that is in the description box below. Password for the group is SFE. Once again, link to that is in the description box below. Also, follow Sports Fan Entertainment on Instagram at Sports Fan Entertainment because I've been posting little clips on there, and I know you guys would love to see little tidbits whenever I release a video. Number 2. So this is my plan. I'm going to have a show, and I still don't know exactly what it's going to be, and I need your help to help figure out what it should be. Basically for recapping the games every week and or recapping the teams. So which would you prefer? Would you prefer me to do a power rankings thing where, and it's going to be like an hour-long show, okay, by the way. It's going to be like a podcast format, but would you rather be like power rankings where I'm going to go team by team, like this team went up, this team went down, or game by game? Which should I emphasize? I can go through my power rankings or I can go game by game. Let me know in the comments below. And with that said, now let's get into my 2020 NFL predictions. And these predictions were not changed by the one Thursday game we had. Okay, relax. Okay, so here's the deal when it comes to this upcoming season. As we know, okay, there will be a lot of games, most games, that won't have fans early into the year. The Chiefs are already doing 22%. I think a lot of teams will catch up to this. So we do need to account for this somewhat. And that has changed my predictions a little bit, okay? And I also came out with like some season previews that some of you guys saw. Again, as you guys always know, my season previews, some of my record predictions can change. Some of them have changed, but nothing too drastic. Let's begin with the AFC. Actually, North right now is scrolling through your screen, so fine, let's start with that. Baltimore Ravens 13-3. They're going to continue to run through this league. Physically, I mean, literally run through this league. Their running back core is ridiculous, and they added J.K. Dobbins for fun. Defense is still stacked, 13-3. Steelers 10-6, man. Big Ben is coming back. They're 8-8 without him. Come on, with him back in the lineup, yes, they have young wide receivers he's going to have to develop a rapport with, but with his leadership, Mike Tomlin, they're back in the playoffs. Cleveland Browns 9-7. And also, I forgot to list whether or not they're a playoff team. But yes, I also have the Browns as a wildcard playoff team. And they could easily be an 11-win team. I still expect some chemistry issues, but then to eventually figure it out and make the playoffs 9-7. Cincinnati Bengals 4-12. They could easily win 6-7 games to me. But whenever you're mathematically giving out wins and losses, some teams you just can't give wins to. And right now, you just can't give wins to the Cincinnati Bengals coming off of last year's season. I'm sorry you're getting the short end of the stick. But again, listen to me. You'll probably win 6 games. I just can't have it right now. Not mathematically. AFC South, 11-5 Tennessee Titans. Yes, 11-5 Tennessee Titans. They just added Jadeveon Clowney. They just made the AFC Championship. They went, 9-3 or 9-4 with Ryan Tannehill at the helm last season. Okay, in the regular season, they went 9-3 with him, including the playoffs. They went 11-4 with him. 11-4, 11-5 Tennessee Titans. There you go. 9-7 Indianapolis Colts. They could easily be an 11-win team. Just got to see what state Phillip Rivers is in. If he's like, 2-3 years ago, Phillip Rivers, okay, yeah, they can win 10, 11 games. Right now, I have them at 9. Texans, I have 9-7. Now, after last Thursday's performance, I want to ding them 2 losses right here, honestly. But with Deshaun Watson, he's still going to win you games. He's still going to beat a lot of the poor teams in this league. I do have them missing the playoffs barely, but I have a lot of teams competing for that last wildcard spot in the AFC, and they just barely missed out. Jacksonville Jaguars, 2-14, they're tanking. They don't care. Why should I? Okay, they just got rid of Leonard Fournette. They're starting Jerome Robinson at running back. I don't care about the Jacksonville Jaguars. AFC West, Kansas City Chiefs, 12-4. I know this seems low, especially after Thursday's performance. Clyde Edwards-Helaire doing his thing. He looks great. Again, I hate to give like 14-2, even 13-3. I hate giving, but especially 15-1. Those records, prediction-wise, I hate doing it because, and also I hate doing really low because what pushes you to that record to me is you just got a little lucky with the schedule. That quarterback got hurt, this quarterback got hurt, and you ended up winning 14, 15 games. I think there are 12 and 13 win teams that end up winning 14, 15 games more so than they were really that good. So that's why before the season, I'm going to say 12 and 4. If they win 14, great. They won 14, but I'm still okay with my 12 and 4 prediction, right? But they're obviously great, second best record in the AFC. Denver Broncos 9 and 7. Well, I forgot to update that. So that was before the Von Miller injury. But, I'm going to stick with it because I think even with that injury with Bradley Chubb, his ascension, they'll still be around 9 and 7, 8 and 8. Las Vegas Raiders 7 and 9. So I see improvement from them. I still see inconsistency. I don't like the fact that Terrell Williams just went down. I think Henry Ruggs will have a great rookie year, but not good enough. And then LA Chargers. They're not 4 and 12 bad, but I just think it's a transitional year for them. Eventually, they put in Justin Herbert. They'll struggle a little bit. They go 4 and 12 transition. Anthony Lynn fired transition. I think it's just a transitional year. And then wrap around to the AFC East. Buffalo Bills 10 and 6, still very strong. But the AFC, man, it's difficult. When you get past the Chiefs and the Ravens, there's a lot of playoff caliber teams. Colts, Titans, Steelers, Browns, Texans. Some people will argue the Raiders, and I think the Broncos are there. So a lot of teams, a lot of competition, but they're gonna win the AFC East for once. Patriots 7 and 9. They have a difficult schedule, and I know they still have a great defense. I know Cam Newton's coming back. It's a very difficult schedule that I could not find more than 7 wins, honestly. Jets 6 and 10 could be worse than this, honestly, but I think Sam Darnold is going to continue to improve, and they'll get 6 wins. Dolphins only 6 and 10. Yes, only a 1-win improvement from last season, but the problem is, you're still starting Ryan Fitzpatrick for now. Tua Tagovailoa is going to take some time to come along, and you guys actually got lucky. Not lucky, but I think you guys had a better record last year than you actually deserve. Okay, so I have 6 and 10 this upcoming season. Wrap around to the NFC. Sure, let's start NFC West. See, I don't determine where it starts on the scroll. The scroll just starts. Okay, so Seattle Seahawks, and actually have the asterisks here as to who I have making the playoffs. So I bought the Seahawks and the 49ers making the playoffs. Seahawks winning the division. It's going to be close. It's going to be tight. It's going to be a battle. It's going to be a coin toss. I just like the quarterback in Seattle, so that's what I went with. But I have them both 10 and 6. Cardinals 8 and 8, barely missing the playoffs, okay? Barely missing the playoffs. If they win 9+ games, to me, they make it. I just need to see Kyler Murray be consistent and ascend to that level. I think that he will. And also, what I will say is, of the 7 teams I have making the playoffs, one of them is going to get injured. And as long as the Cardinals are healthy, you'll make it. I just couldn't put you above one of the 7 that I have right now. Rams 7 and 9. They're going to be offensive. They're going to score points. Defense is going to struggle at times. They're going to be like the Atlanta Falcons are most years, right? Except maybe a little bit better coach. You know how the Atlanta Falcons, some years they're putting up points, but they're losing close games. Jared Goff is going to look a lot like Matt Ryan. He already does. It just seems like an Atlanta Falcons type year for me for the LA Rams. Okay, so Dallas Cowboys 11 and 5, true Super Bowl contenders. I think Dak Prescott's going to want to solidify that contract. But, man, some losses defensively, especially like a Byron Jones, I think is ultimately going to hold them back. Philadelphia Eagles 9 and 7. So I put the Eagles in over some teams that you'll see like the Cardinals because they have better talent and they are better coached. I don't love this team right now, and I do not like the wide receiver situation now. It was even worse in December of last season. So if they could do any better than that, then yeah, I'll grant you that. But the level of competition in the NFC is going to be higher this year. They're not going to entirely be able to get away with that like they were last season. So that's why I have them 9 and 7. I just don't love that wide receiver situation right now. New York Giants 6 and 10. It's just hard to give you guys too many wins right now, but you guys will see improvement. And it could easily be 8 and 8. Like if you actually put a gun to my head, I'd say probably closer to 8 and 8. But I could not just give you the wins. Same goes to the Washington football team, 5 and 11. Again, you guys know I'm not a fan of Dwayne Haskins. I think he's going to improve. This is probably going to be his best year of his career. Because for some reason with quarterbacks that end up flaming out, they were great their second year. Ask Mitchell Trubisky, ask Marcus Mariota, my boy, ask Jameis Winston. This is his year. He's probably going to be the best. So it could end up being 6-7 wins. I don't know. That's just what happens. NFC North, Green Bay Packers 10 and 6, but a strong 10 and 6. They're going to look more like a Super Bowl contender this season they were last season when they went 13 and 3. Minnesota Vikings 7 and 9. I'm not buying it. I think Mike Zimmer's time in Minnesota is done. I know they just extended him. It was a fake extension. I think it's time for them to move on. They got rid of too many cornerbacks in that secondary for me. I think they're headed downwards. Detroit Lions 6 and 10. But here's the thing: Lions are low-key playoff contenders. You guys know I love giving too much credit to the Lions. Let me tell you, if Stafford comes back and he's healthy, this offense will be firing, bro. I'm not sure about the defense. It depends on Jeff Okudah, who I think is great. Can he hold it down? But I have them 6-10 because I have to have them 6-10. And the Bears 4-12. I'm sorry. I think the quarterback room is a disaster. I think they're going to give up after a month and a half. They're going to say this quarterback room is a disaster. I'm tired of carrying this quarterback room. The running backs aren't great. The wide receivers, the offense stinks. The whole offense stinks. The defense is going to mail it in. It's going to look exactly like Nick Foles for the Jacksonville Jaguars last season when they just mailed it in. The Jaguars were not that bad last season before they got rid of everyone, before the exodus that the Bears might have coming soon, but the defense just mailed it in. The Bears defense is going to mail it in this year after a month and a half. Give me 4-12 for the Bears. NFC South. Saints 12-4. They win the NFC South, but I'm not sure about their playoff hopes, and I'll tell you that in a moment. Tampa Bay Buccaneers 11-5. Tom Brady's going to come in there and do a great job. Falcons 6-10. Now, Falcon fans won't love this, but your defense, Desmond Trufant's now gone. Yes, you did draft a new corner in there, but it's a rookie corner. You can't expect much from A.J. Terrell right now. Defense, you just can't trust. Offense, Todd Gurley, to me, like the Rams, the Lions, the Falcons, they're all offensive teams. They're all doing the same thing. They're not on the level of the Seahawks, the 49ers, who can, run the football and throw the football successfully while having a decent damn defense. They're not. They're a tier below. So I have them all in like a 7-9, 8-8, 6-10 tier. I think they're all in that tier. And then Vikings aren't off. Vikings are actually pretty offensive these days. Vikings are also in that tier to me. It's a whole tier of these teams. Panthers 5-11 below that tier. I don't like the Panthers this year. I don't like Teddy Bridgewater as a starting quarterback in this league. I don't know why people keep buying into it. Fine, let's do this again. Let's do this Teddy Bridgewater again. And then by next year, you'll be like, damn, the Panthers need a quarterback. And then Seattle Seahawks, let's wrap around. Oh, no, then that's it. Okay, that's it. Because we started with the NFC West. So, you looked at again, the one team the closest team to me of the tier, because I think it is a whole tier of like the Eagles, the Cardinals, and then you have the Vikings. I think you have the Falcons. It's a whole tier. Rams. I'm not sure who's going to separate themselves. The Cardinals, I think, again, if the Eagles fall out or if the Cowboys get injured and they fall out, they sneak in. I think the Cardinals are the most promising of those teams that are like, you don't know where they're at as a franchise right now. Are they ascending? Are they descending? Are they stuck? A lot of them are just stuck. So that's what I have right now when it comes to the NFC. So I'm not going to go right now and go, okay, wild card and conference. And no, we don't need to do that. Who's going to make the AFC championship? Who's going to make the NFC championship? So AFC championship game. It has to be the Baltimore Ravens versus the Kansas City Chiefs for right now, because they are the best two teams in the NFL right now. They are like so unstoppable on paper and production. You just can't go with anything else. Like, I'd love to sit here and say Tennessee Titans will beat the Ravens and the Chiefs. I can't do that. I'd love to sit here right now and say the Pittsburgh Steelers would do it, or the Buffalo Bills. I can't. If the season comes along and one of those teams separates themselves as a 10, not even a 10, as a 11, 12 win team, I think the Titans will be 11, but 12, we might have a conversation, but both of these teams look 12 plus easily, look so dominant. Good luck stopping them. But who's going to win? Now, you guys know I've been a Lamar Jackson critic. Okay, I've been a big critic of Lamar Jackson. I got Lamar Jackson going to the Super Bowl and beating the Kansas City Chiefs. And I know the Chiefs look so unbeatable, but when the Ravens start running them down and running them down and running them down, and now that Lamar Jackson's going to be able to calm down, there's going to be less fans, less pressure, and at this point, he's choked 2 whole playoff games. Like, he's going to win one in the divisional, assuming that they actually have the bye week, which I assume they will. He's going to win his first one, feel more comfortable, show up in the AFC Championship, ball out, go to the Super Bowl. Less fans in the stadium, less pressure. He's going to do it to me. And they have the formula to beat the Chiefs. They have a good defense, and they run the football, and they can throw it too. It's a perfect team to beat the Chiefs right now. The Ravens going to the Super Bowl. NFC Championship. This will surprise you. Bucs versus Seahawks. Ooh! The NFC, I think, is going to be a disaster. But I think it's going to be a beautiful disaster. I don't trust the Saints in the playoffs. I don't trust Drew Brees in the playoffs. Yes, he can win you some playoff games. He'll lose you some too. I do not trust the Saints in the playoffs anymore. I haven't for years. You look at the 49ers, their time is past right now. They could re-arise, but they're going to suffer the Super Bowl loss hangover and not be able to return. It's just what happens in this league. And they're not good enough to avoid that. I think, who else? The Cowboys are going to be very strong. And I wanted to put the Cowboys here. I really did, but I feel like the Seahawks or the Bucs here with Tom Brady and Russell Wilson would just, out-clutch them, out-pressure them, because this is two quarterbacks in Brady and Wilson that are experienced. They know the spotlight. Dak Prescott's been in the spotlight, don't get me wrong, but he also chokes in the spotlight. We've seen that time and time again, too. These two men don't. Now, who do I have winning this one? I have the Seahawks winning this one, going to the Super Bowl. So my Super Bowl 55 matchup is the Baltimore Ravens versus the Seattle Seahawks. Today, okay, and this is September 12th, I have the Ravens winning this matchup. If this matchup actually happens, and the Seahawks, because I don't know who's going to get out of the NFC. That's a crapshoot. It's like 1 of 5 teams going to get out of the NFC. AFC 1 of 2, much easier. If this matchup actually happens, I'm picking the Seahawks that day, because I'm going to pick Russell Wilson that day to beat Lamar Jackson that day in that Super Bowl, period, point blank. But to play it safe, I'm going to pick the Ravens today. But if it happens that day, I'm picking Russell Wilson to beat Lamar Jackson on that day. So with that said, let's get into what's next. Oh, I actually know what's next, the awards. So I'm not big on awards, but people are, so let's just do it quickly. Okay, Patrick Mahomes, MVP. Offensive Player of the Year, Lamar Jackson. Defensive Player of the Year, TJ Watt. Only reason they give it to TJ Watt instead of like a Myles Garrett or an Aaron Donald. Donald's, he only had 12.5 sacks last year. Still fantastic. But I think he also has fatigue for the voters. Like, they're not going to really want to keep voting Aaron Donald. TJ Watt keeps ascending, one of the best defensive players in this league, can come down with interceptions, can force fumbles, is going to put up more statistically than a lot of guys. TJ Watt wins it to me. Offensive Rookie of the Year, Clyde Edwards-Helaire. Everyone has this. Defensive Rookie of the Year, Chase Young. Everyone has this. Everyone has this. Comeback Player of the Year, Matthew Stafford. And I struggle with this because I want to say Big Ben, because at least Big Ben will make the playoffs, but I think Matthew Stafford's going to be better statistically and will deserve it to me. But whether or not they actually give it to him, we'll see. But I think that's what's going to be the story. And then Coach of the Year, Bruce Arians. I don't know who to pick. If the Cardinals end up popping off 10 plus wins, Cliff Kingsbury. If the Mike Vrabel could get it. In fact, I probably should have put Mike Vrabel over Bruce Arians, but I think they picked Bruce Arians because the Bucs are going to be definitively a Super Bowl contender. So fine, I'll say Bruce Arians. Also, the Browns head coach Kevin Stefanski, also an option here. And then finally, I also like to predict who's going to have the number 1 pick, and right now that is the Jacksonville Jaguars. To me, they're stinking. Their offense is horrible. Running back situation is a disaster. Wide receivers, they're a whole bunch of young idiots. I mean, who knows what's going on in Jacksonville? I actually like Gardner Minshew, but they're just going to shove him to the side. Fine. Ship him to Tennessee to be backup quarterback for us. I'd love to have that stupid mustache in Nashville, Tennessee. So with that said, those are my 2020 NFL predictions. What are yours? Comment down below. I want to know. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to like, comment, and most importantly, to subscribe. And until next time, this has been MJ of Sports Fan Entertainment, and I'm out. See you all later.